All right, so I would like to start with this concept of this concept of a map. Let's say, and actually I have a map that I didn't create it myself. It's a map from Scott Kilby, which is a kind of universal map, or somehow what needs to happen in us, or for a spiritual, or for somebody who is interested to free themselves from suffering. There are certain kind of like a path. Certain things need to happen that have a certain chronology, so to say. So I will actually print this map big. And what is cool about this map is that it applies for various paths. So you don't need to know about KI. Somehow seems to apply regardless of if you were into Zen, or if you were into shadow work, or if you were into psychedelic work, or if you had some guru, or if you had all of the above. Yeah, there's some kind of, and the purpose of a real map is to, like a good map, is like, hey, how to travel the territory. Yeah, it's about that. So this module, 10-week module, and my work, I found it that it's very helpful intellectually to structure it based on this map. And that I give full credit to Scott Kilby for that. And he wants me to do whatever I want with this map, to use it. So, okay, so this map is, the idea briefly is that there are 3 dimensions of practice that are needed for us to free ourselves from suffering, and to be awake and embodied, authentic, with good relationships with ourselves, with our people in our life, with the world. So to not just be awake in a philosophical way or in a disembodied way, but to be awake yet embodied, and functioning at maximum potential in this world, which is not great. I mean, it's awesome, but it's like toxic culture. Humanity is kind of pretty fucked up and all of that. So for this to happen, where I can have clear mind and not be lost in thought. Okay, how would this look like? Is to say, if I do this work, I have to tell you this, yeah, map towards what? Fuck, what towards what? So my, where I'm going and where I want to take you is this. See if you like it. Maybe you don't like it. You can walk away right now, So it's like that, okay, I'm no longer now spinning in thoughts all day. I'm not like, from the moment I wake up, like thoughts, and like my mind is full of thoughts, and all the time past and future, and memories, and fears, and desires, and the voices in the head, and many of them are not nice. They are telling me that I'm a piece of shit, I'm not worthy, look at you. So the voice in the head is beating me up. And I believe I am the voice in the head, and it tells me that I'm unworthy and bad and something wrong with me, and thoughts all the time. That's where we start. Then we have emotions. Some of us, we have a lot of emotions and we are wallowing in them all the time. Some of us, we kind of suppress them and repress them, so we don't feel nothing. And we are kind of cut off, or we have chronic pain somewhere, or tensions somewhere, because all these emotions, they have to go somewhere, yeah? Or we have addictions and compulsions. In this model, addiction compulsion is just a way to manage our suffering, some innocent way to escape something that I can't or won't process, or I don't have tools how to process it, so I'm escaping it. Yeah. We start from that we have all of these beliefs, the sense of identity is wrapped up in, like, many of us, that there's something wrong with me, I'm unworthy, I'm bad, I'm broken. Some of us may have this, I'm better than you guys, I'm so much better, people don't know anything, I'm superior, and whatever. A sense of that it's not, I can't be myself, it's hard to be myself, it's hard to put boundaries, it's hard to trust people, I can't have a good relationship, I keep attracting the same unfulfilling dynamic with my partner. I'm all the time sensing a sense of lack. There's a sense of lack. Something is missing, and then we are seeking happiness in objects, like objects meaning like in some new toy, some new car, or some new job, or a new lover, or if only I find the woman of my life, or money, or seeking something, even in spirituality, seeking some future fulfillment. And also we have this, we have this strong mechanism that we don't even know that we are resisting our feelings. Nobody taught us really how to feel, so we have all these feelings we don't want, and then they play out in the head all the time, and so we are afraid. We don't even know we are afraid to feel, afraid to express. Yeah, so that's the situation of humanity. I liked a lot the fourth way. In the fourth way, they were saying, Gurdjieff Uspensky work, is that humanity as it is asleep from the point of view of consciousness, from the point of view of potential of consciousness. We are asleep. It's like the Matrix metaphor is kind of like that. Yeah, we are asleep in some kind of trance, state of misery, lack or desire, or escaping, and we don't know who we are. Like, we don't have clarity to the question, what am I? What is my true self? Then on top of that, we have all of these programs from our parents and adaptations and these negative programs, core woundedness programs, as well as how we adapted in childhood to survive, like to hide, to be funny, to work hard, to never stop, to never try anything. So this is the current situation with some degree. Some of us have a lot of that, and some of us have a little bit of that. So the map, okay, come back to the map. The map is, okay, as a way to come out of this and how to engage in a skillful work at its own time to change the situation. So the idea is that there are kind of three types of work necessary. In this module, I'm going to, you can make notes or something. It's good to have a journal, or some notebook. Not so much, you can write whatever I'm saying, although it's going to be recorded. But also it's good to have some notebook, because we are going to study our ego, our sense of me. We are going to study it more systematically. So it's good we are going to identify our core deficiency stories. So it's good to not be vague, or in some teachings like the shadows, our shadow beliefs, our core programs connected to our woundedness. So it's good to be systematic and scientific about it, because otherwise it's nebulous and vague, and then we are bamboozled. So it's good to, especially as we progress, to have, okay, these are my deficiency stories. I don't know, for me, I used to have this thing that I know better and I'm better. This was for a long time. That was on top of other shit, which actually was deeper. Underneath was the I can't be myself. It's not safe to be myself. I have to be in a certain way. I have to hide, and I have to lie. I have to hide. It's not safe to be myself. Yeah, I can't trust love. I will never have a good relationship. There's something wrong with me. Yeah, so we'll go early on this concept of deficiency story. This is important to identify these things. But anyway, the idea is you identify certain core programs. It's good to write them down because we are going to learn what to do with them. Some way, something to do with it, to deprogram it, because we're not born with it. It was installed either through imitation, our parents, through transmission, or through adaptation. So then if they are clear, then I'm like, oh, okay, I have them here. It's not vague. Also, there are relational patterns. Like, I'm afraid to be myself because they are going to leave me, or I have to abandon myself to please the other person, or I have to people please, or to avoid conflict because whatever. So anyway, all of this is good to have a notebook to put it down, and things will be more crisp, and then you will be here offered and will practice certain deprogramming methodology. That first we are going to do it together, but then you can do it on your own. Yeah, I forgot to say, this path is that you'll get some methodology that you can, some technology that you can do this on your own. Yeah, so you don't have to depend on a group, a therapist, a guru or something. You know, although with heavy shit and heavy stuff, it's good to be with someone. All right, so 3 dimensions of practice. This appears also with this guy, Ken Wilber. Probably some of you heard of Ken Wilber. He's a, yeah, you should check him out. He was like a Buddhist Zen non-dual teacher. He's old now, and he was also very heady too. And so he wrote all of these things. And he was saying that 3 types of work are necessary, like waking up, cleaning up, and growing up. Waking up. This is like, waking up is like, well, if I'm lost in thought all day and I'm not mindful, there's no awareness. There's not enough awareness in here, then nothing's going to happen, man. I mean, we are fucked. And that's where we start. There's not enough awareness, so to say. We are identified with the mind and with the programs. And so waking up work is connected to, so waking up, cleaning up. Okay, so now I'm more awake, I'm more conscious. If I'm not conscious, then I can't see what shit I have. I am the shit. So I need to be more conscious, more awake, to start to observe certain things in myself that need to be cleaned up. So cleaning up is connected to, you know, processing our wounding and our core negative beliefs, which are not just beliefs, they are in the body too. Yeah, it's not just, oh, can you let go of this story? Yeah, I let it go. Yeah, well, good luck with that, because it's not so easy to let it go, because it's in the body, and so needs some somatic skillful processing. Okay. So cleaning up is somehow, as we are more awake, we are kind of cleaning the conditioning and what doesn't serve us, and you know, which is harder than it sounds. And then there's a growing up. Now we are more awake, we have less shit. Okay, well, what am I here for? What am I here to do? What is, you know, a sense of, comes naturally, a sense of, hey, this is what I'm here to do. There's a sense of mission, a sense of purpose, a sense of expansion, I guess. Expansion of, not just of consciousness as a, like, expansion of consciousness, like enlightenment, but as a human. Yeah. Okay, so the map. In this module, I'm going to just deal with just 2 dimensions of practice. I won't have time to deal with the 3rd dimension of practice because that's too far out there. So briefly, 1st dimension of practice is connected with becoming more conscious, becoming more awake. I use the term awake. I don't want to sound philosophical or religious and all of that. It's more like more mindful, more present. So 1st dimension of practice, which is foundational. Without this, it's hard to go any further. Without this, our suffering is torturing us, and our nervous system is crunched, and then we are in a bad situation. So 1st dimension of practice, there are any kind of exercises and methods connected to, I'll give you an example, like meditation, more like not visualizing angels meditation, but what I mean by that is watching the breath, watching the thoughts, noticing thoughts coming and going, instead of being lost in them all day, every day, quieting the mind and becoming more and more present in the here and now. Yeah, initially, I mean, it's helpful to have a meditation practice. Actually, I encourage to do that, because otherwise we are kind of full of shit in some way, because our life is very busy and we are getting hooked into things quickly and all the time, and then we are interested in these things, but nothing happens. So it's good to carve half an hour or 20 minutes or even 12 minutes a day or 5 days a week, where I'm dedicated to just being aware, being present, doing some kind of mindfulness, meditation practice. I'm going to offer these various things, and we're going to do things here. And
open a window, it's really hot in here.
yeah, can you?
It's just like, I just feel like, is anybody else?
No, I think it's pretty hot. You can lift it a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, so I was talking about carving time to devote to a mindfulness meditation practice. So anything to do with that, it's very important. Because without that, we are just spinning in the mind, unconscious, believing every thought that comes along as me. Every thought is me, every thought is me. The voices are saying this, and all the imprints and trauma imprints from childhood, they are now torturing me, and I believe them. So I'm now manifesting them with situations in my life to confirm themselves. So 1st dimension of practice is connected to getting more conscious. You know, you guys are familiar, Eckhart Tolle, all of this being present, the power of now, observing oneself, observing my reactions, observing my thoughts, observing my triggers, and dropping the story and staying in the here and now. Zen thing, the Buddhist thing. That's 1st dimension. We are going to do this. That's important. Some other aspect of the 1st dimension of practice is meditation is not enough. Meditation is very good, like allocating special time a day to meditate in a certain way. That will definitely allow for the mind to quiet, and we develop some ability to not stick to the voices. So we have a little space from them. We discovered that there's this witnessing, there's the witnessing. It's not just thoughts, but something is aware of thoughts. So this gives some relief. And But if it is compartmentalized, just some 10 minutes a day or 50 or half an hour or even an hour or even 2 hours, some people are like, I used to do that, meditate a lot. It's compartmentalized, and then when I get off the meditation mat, then I lose it, and then I'm like, I forget about being aware, being present, being. So also some portable awareness tools are very important, so that it's less limited, just once a day. And often we get busy and that we drop the meditation anyway. So we are going to learn here how to bring this more presence, more awareness in everyday life, driving, eating, talking to people, this or that. This is all first dimensional practice. Yeah, it's not complicated. The first dimensional practice can go very deep. I am now just doing a foundation. These teachings, there are many teachings, they're just dealing with that and seemingly as complete teachings. This can go very deep, like Eckhart Tolle or Advaita Vedanta, non-duality. So the going with the first dimension, going towards what perhaps some of you are familiar with, this self-inquiry. Self-inquiry, teachings about the self with the capital S, where we go beyond just meditating to quiet the mind, or meditating to not stick to these things, and meditating to calm the nervous system, or being more present in order to show up in a good way in the world, and to be a good man and a good father, and to handle adversity and stress. Yeah, this is all good. But the first dimension can go deeper into this kind of deep, I would say, towards, let's say, awakening. And in this is not my terminology, but awakening, it's used liberally these days, but in this context, awakening means to become aware of our true nature, to become aware of our true self. Now, just talking about this doesn't cut it, but it's worth talking about it. Who am I? What am I? Somehow awakening is connected to experientially getting that peace, and is connected to some experientially realizing that I am not the thoughts, I'm not my memories, I'm not all that happened to me, I'm not the body, I'm not my triggers. There's something which is aware of them. There's this presence. So awakening is connected to realizing that we are this presence. We have always been this presence. Even when I believed I'm a piece of shit, there was still this presence believing to be a piece of shit. There was a misunderstanding. So awakening goes deep into who am I and all of that. I don't know if I'm going to go too far into that, because that's not very useful to go too far into deep transpersonal philosophical teaching while we have regular shit in our system from childhood. So that's the first dimension. The limitations of the first dimension of practice is that we are not really discovering the unconscious so much, the subconscious. They are things that are there creating problems that I'm not aware of. I can meditate, I can go to a Vipassana retreat, I can have 4 days of awake and this and that, and I go back in 3 days, I'm triggered again by my girlfriend, I'm upset, and I don't know why. So here is the second dimensional practice which is needed. So the second dimensional practice is any teachings or tools or methodology connected to becoming aware of our unconscious, becoming aware of. So, in the first dimension, I'm triggered. Okay, I'm triggered, I'm pissed, I'm triggered, but I don't know why I am triggered, So, second dimension of practices and tools are connected to becoming aware of the cause of our triggers, becoming aware of our core programs, of our childhood negative messages we believed as a child. It's my fault. It has to be my fault. I believe this so that I can make it better for them. I can't be myself. I have to hide. I cannot be real. So all of this, the subconscious, so the second dimensions are connected with tools and things to start to become aware of our subconscious, our unconscious, and by doing that, we are going to deprogram them. We are going to it's going to fade away. Yeah. Like in Mankind Project, that's a good technology. Mankind Project, men's work, it's a good technology processes to become aware of our shadow, to realize that certain behaviors come from some shadow beliefs, become aware of judgments, we are opening the hood, yeah. So I'm going to deal in these 10 weeks primarily with this first dimension and second dimension, and not just to become aware of them, but to start deprogramming them. Yeah. Yeah. A big part of the second dimension is that we are avoiding unpleasantness, which it makes sense. Like my cat avoids unpleasantness, and it's like, oh, I don't like that. But we are avoiding and suppressing and repressing and escaping our emotional body. We haven't been taught what to do with our emotions, and so we learn some things what to do with our emotions. That's very important, because the fact that it's all crunched, that creates a lot of the suffering, actually. So we are going to work and explore around emotions, and and some of us, we are very comfortable to go into anger, but we are very uncomfortable to go into fear or sadness. And some of us are actually comfortable with sadness, but not comfortable with anger at all. And some of us, we are comfortable to feel it, but we are very uncomfortable to show it or to express it. So this is all connected to wounding in childhood, and we adapted it in order to have less shit. So that's kind of the scope of this, is these 2 dimensions of practice. Just for the record, the third dimension of practice, which is not for the scope of this group, but I'm going to prepare for that, is where our deepest pain is there, basically. The deepest core level of wounded trauma, as well as the sense of deep emotional repression. Repression is different than suppression. Suppression is like, let's say I'm getting pissed on a meeting, but I'm aware I'm getting pissed, but I'm calm, I'm keeping it down so that I don't create problems with my boss, or I'm getting sad, but it's not right to go into this with these people here, so I'm going to keep it down. That's suppression. Repression is that this is happening without me knowing, and it doesn't even come anymore. It doesn't even come up anymore, because we have practiced so hard to push them down. So this way, it's impossible to be authentic, basically. if we are not in touch with our true feeling and if they are not allowed. So the third dimension is more like deepest levels of trauma and repression. And we can't go there. This is like really like 300 meters under the earth. And I can't go straight there. We have to go first like 100 meters, 200 meters. So that's why we first go through some lighter things. Yeah. So that's the thing. There I do other type of work where I go into third dimension or on one-on-one, but I can't do everything in 10 weeks anyway. Any questions on this so far? I know I said a lot.
Mihai, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Hi. So you had waking up, cleaning up, growing up. Are you saying that's first, second, third, or am I mixing that up?
Yeah, you know, I don't necessarily want to correlate this waking up, growing up, and cleaning up. Yeah, I don't correlate it first dimension, second dimension, third dimension necessarily. But I just brought this up because this wise philosopher realized that, hey, meditating all day and self-inquiry is not enough, bro, because you have shadows and you have repression. And you can meditate more and it's not going to cut it because you're still going to get triggered. So if you want to not get triggered anymore, you need to do some other work than meditating more. Yeah. So I don't want to overlap them, but I would, yeah, it fits nicely. I would say that cleaning up is more like second and third dimension of work, deep processing and awareness-based processing. And then it's a result of that, since we don't have all of this stuff that are holding us back, our innate nature wants to grow and expand. So I think the growing up happens spontaneously. Although growing up, I mean, what is that supposed to mean? I like in men's work, they have this like accountability, man, accountability. I'm accountable to my agreements. I keep my word. I am in integrity with myself and others. That seems to me like a very grown-up thing. So, yeah. And also for you guys who come from, KI. And so I am going to, what, KI? Yeah, KI is awareness-based. What?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You can't explain it. It's amazing.
KI is an awareness-based somatic processing modality created by Scott Killaby, that I use here a lot. It's a way to, it's like a awareness-based somatic processing. What I mean by that, awareness-based somatic processing is not like talk therapy, like, hey, tell me more about this. Hey, what do you get out of this? You see how you keep fucking up? Yeah, I see. Yeah, okay. So it's not, does it remind you of what? Oh yeah, my father was fucking up. Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, you are sad. I'm sad. Yeah. So no, this is more like a closed eye, slow investigation of our triggers, of our unconscious in a certain way. That's KI, and with some very surgical tools to not beat about the bush, but to identify quickly, hey, what are your deficiency story? Oh, I am unworthy of love and care, and I have to stay small. Got it. Anything else? Yeah, I can't be myself. Great. All right. Good job. You found it. You. Oh, so identify certain things and then start processing them. So because these are lies, this is not true. This is actually due to the child in us when we're younger. we kind of were programmed with this, but it's not true. So the KI is a way to make this conscious and to slowly see it a bunch of times in a different way and feel the pain in that, because it's very painful to carry that. And also that we carry that because something painful happened. So see certain things, feel certain things, and then that story will fizzle out. So KI is that. So for those of you who come from KI, I'm going to do KI, yeah? I just want to, Scott is going very like deep now in the third dimension and with deep trauma and deep stuff. And that, in my experience, doesn't go so well if you don't have a foundation of, hey man, a little bit of awareness, meditation practice, a little bit of less checked out all day, every day. And then learning a certain ways to, you know, like mining, I'm feeling something in my, most of us, we feel weird sometimes, like, I don't know, there's this thing in my chest, like, it's like, I don't know, fuck it, I don't know, I'm going to smoke or have coffee or meditate or do breath work or go date or have some vodka. Yeah, we are escaping something, we don't even know what that is. So part of the second dimension, like starting to unpack will be this process of mining, like, oh, I have this thing in my chest. All right, let me stay with it for a moment. Okay, I close my eyes. First of all, I don't want to get rid of it, because if I want to get rid of it, then I'm already engaged in some warfare with it and it makes it hard. So I'm willing to allow this for now. It's unpleasant, but I'm willing to allow it. Yeah, I feel it. I don't know what it is, but it's tight. And so then I'm like, okay, well, I let it be here. And if this tightness in my chest were to say something at the voice, what would it say? And I wait, and then the tightness says, I'm alone, man. She left me, or they don't treat me well, you know. So there's something in the tightness, or there is like, I'm sad, but I wasn't feeling that I'm sad. It was just feeling like a tightness or a burning. So we are going to learn this, how to unpack our system. And yeah, this will be second dimension. We're going to start early on with this stuff. Did I answer?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, we are going to do level 1 and level 2 levels of dimension in this module. About presence, witnessing, meditation, every day, more presence. Also, this idea of observing ourselves, not just in meditation, but observing my pattern. Oh, I see, I'm in a group now and it's like weird. I was like, it's like tight, like I'm afraid. I was like, the fuck is happening? So observing ourselves, observing what's happening in action. Or there's some recurring pattern that happens in my relationship. So we want to observe these things. In many unskillful pathways, there's this thing that I want to change it right away. I want to change this. I want to let go of this. I want to get rid of it. I don't like this. This doesn't work, because this, let's say, holding back when I'm in a group, or hiding, or whatever pattern we have, and we all have a bunch of patterns. This is deeply rooted in our decades and in the child, and it has a utility and it's meaningful and it helped us. And you can't get rid of it. You can't get rid of it like that. So the first step in trying to get rid of something is to stop trying to get rid of it and more like observe it. Observe. In the fourth way, there was this idea of which is hard, to train yourself to observe your patterns, your ego, your idiosyncrasies, your stories. Observe yourself as an interesting, curious stranger. It's like, oh, that's interesting. Like, oh. Or imagine like you have a Swiss watch or something very, you can't go there and change something because everything is linked to something else. So it's not so easy. So first step, like in quantum mechanics, physics, first bring awareness to the situation. So that's why we don't right away want to change something. We try to bring awareness to the pattern, try to and not judge it. We also have this thing that we judge. We have some shit and we judge it. Yeah, but we can't observe our patterns when we are triggered and identified if we don't have some foundation of mindfulness. So that's why it's helpful to sit 20 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day when it's calm. How am I going to observe myself when I'm triggered and losing my shit if I can't observe myself and I never try when it's calm, Yeah, I would like to Yeah, any more questions? So that was in KI. I'm going to that you are coming to Kiloby meetings and you are going to the members area. We are going to learn here about body-mind connection and mining out contractions in the body to see what they say. The idea is that whenever we have something in the body that's unpleasant, I'm not talking about headache or toothache, but some contraction. That's not just a contraction. It's some hidden thought in it. There's some file. There's a subconscious file. Also, whenever we have a difficult thought or a looping thought, there is a correspondent in the body. So there's a body-mind are linked. So if we want to process our pain body, we need to do it the body and the mind systematically. So we are going to do that experientially. We are going to do mining. We are going to learn about reverse inquiry. We are going to learn about the boomerang. These are some tools to find out the cause of the trigger, actually. Often we are triggered, but we don't know why we are triggered. And then we are either collapsed or attacking or like they and like. We are going to do learn some basic, shadow work. Yeah. So you will get some of the foundation for level 2, and how to not resist emotions anymore, and how to most of us, we are in the head, and the head is full, and some of us, especially men, but not all of us, we are like numb here. We don't feel. We in order to survive, we not train not to feel because it's painful. And also my daddy didn't feel because he had to be strong in order to come from the war. And my grandfather, he didn't have tools, so he needed to get it together and not feel. And so we got this transmission of avoiding feeling. So yeah, so we are going to learn this thing to not just meditation, like it's nice, incense and the Buddha, and like, which is nice. I love that. But, going day by day and becoming aware of the inner body, this area, and becoming aware of this, there's knots, there's this burning, there's this, becoming aware of the emotional body, and at least train ourselves to allow emotions and also to unpack, because usually I ask people, I do a lot of one-on-one, hey, what do you feel? Oh, I feel like they don't like me, and I feel they and some bunch of stories. So it's all mixed, the story with the sensation, with the emotion, with the past. So some way of unpacking it, like and bringing awareness to it. Yeah, so we are going to learn good KI, for level 1, let's say, which will prepare you to do deeper trauma and repression work. Anything else?
Yeah, because I know that that's an area that I'm really stuck at. I know because I'm coming from KI in terms of like doing some of the inquiries and stuff like that. It's almost as if like I don't need the inquiries. I already know that I'm really fucking pissed. But then if I go in the actual practice of doing it, of actually putting focused attention on it, it's the way I kind of describe it, ironically, using very similar language. It's like, it's almost like a quantum physics observation. As soon as I observe it, pew, it's gone and it's not there and it's shut down. And so that's where I keep running into a wall, is like outside of the practice, I'll feel something. But then when I'm in the practice, it's like, I don't know, it's like I'm too smart for my own good almost. I know how to like duck and dive and hide around all the corners to where I'm not able to get in there, so to speak.
And when you say outside the practice, you mean outside the self-facilitation KI practice?
Yeah. When I'm outside of the practice, it's like, then things come up and then I'm like, okay. But then when I'm in the practice, that's where it's like, it just gets all kind of like lost and it gets confusing. And then I just, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we, be patient here with us, because some of these people, they are not at all familiar with KI. And actually, I want to start with this foundational stuff. But then I'm going to go into how to skillfully mine out what the contraction or the feeling has to say. And then we slow it down and we witness that. So we are going to learn things, certain skills to be more skillful about it, and how to, if it goes, it seems like it comes and then you are aware of it and it goes, hides from you. So there are ways, to prompt it up again and stuff like that. So be patient here with us. Anyone else? Anything else here?
What is chaos?
Yeah, I would say, you guys, it's too long to explain. KI extends from Killer Bee Inquiries, which is a awareness-based somatic modality.
Oh, yeah, I just.
Which, yeah, that's fine. Which is connected with this guy Scott Killerby. I myself, I'm friends with him, and he's like a mentor to me, like a teacher, friend, and I've done trainings together with him, and I use his method, but I'm not bound to his method. But I do resonate with that a lot. Yeah. And so I will bring a lot of that method here. Yeah. All right, so how about let's take like a 4-minute break, go to the bathroom, have this, move a little bit, and then we'll go into a little bit of more experiential something. Yeah, let's come back in 4 minutes. Sure, yeah.
Can I just?
You can put it here in this, in the bowl.
Okay, cool. Right. Good to see you.
Yeah, hang on, just let me stop here something.
Yeah, this is